Good afternoon, everyone. It's story time again. I hope you're all nice and snuggled up in this cold day. Today's story is called The Boy Who Dreams of Becoming a Chef. I come from a very ordinary family, and my name is Tom. I have older siblings. We have parents that are very sociable. We always have people at our home. We are not wealthy. My mum is a teacher, and my dad works for the church. Visitors would be invited or just come along with friends of ours. My mum loved to cook. She used her time over weekends and school holidays trying out new recipes, and I was the happy kid who got to be the taster. I love food. There was not any particular type of food that I love. I just love to eat good food, wholesome food. So I also grew to love learning how to cook. I dreamed that if I could cook well, then one day, maybe one day, I might get to cook for famous people and also be a recognized chef like Jamie Oliver or Gordon Ramsay or Nigella or any of the other South African good cooks. High hopes. But I persevered and became my mum's little helper. I loved it. It had fringe benefits so that I could eat all the time. However, I also learned some stuff as well. Whenever I got back from school, I would first do my homework really quickly, change out of my school clothing, and just go downstairs to the kitchen to check what else is there. And so I learned quickly about getting there in time so that my mum is just making a sandwich for me or doing something special for me when I get back home from school. I also love to cycle and to swim, but my special thing is to learn how to cook. My mum didn't spare me at all, though. She got me to do the ordinary jobs that really, really did not count for anything good. I had to clean onions and I used to cry, clean potatoes, carrots, all those type of stuff. But my eyes burned and I was resilient though. I was very determined to learn how food is cooked. So many times I would beam with pride whenever we had visitors and they complimented the food. And my mum used to say, "My boy cooked that." I used to be so excited. Spurred this spurred me on. I Googled the famous cooking sites, and as I got older, I tried out many simple but delicious food. My passion was cooking vegetables with sauces and gravies, but I loved cooking fish of all sorts as well. My favorite fish was salmon in any form. I could not eat it. I could eat it raw. I could eat it poached. I could eat it in a salad. I could eat it grilled. I could eat it steamed and in a mousse. Any way whatsoever. I just loved salmon. I can't afford it though, but I love it. Well, my day arrived. One day, we got news that the Archbishop and his wife were coming to visit because we had a big celebration at the church. The church in Natal was 150 years old, and my dad invited the Archbishop to come along and to be our celebrant and preacher at the Sunday service. So they arrived. Well, organizing their meals was a joy for me too, because I just cottoned on to everything that was happening in the kitchen and was told that I was a good helper, and that too made me excited. Anyway, after the big service on Sunday, we were going to have lunch together with the Archbishop and his wife and other guests. So my mum was on the committee that was organizing this dinner. Whoa, she said, "Would you like to help?" I said, "Yes, you don't even have to ask. You know how I love cooking." And so I looked up every single recipe on a salmon mousse, because that was what I was going to make for that special lunch. Oh, the church spared no change. They bought Norwegian salmon. Oh my word, the top of the range, I thought. My goodness. Well, I'm going to make a mousse out of this. And I Googled and found out all the ingredients that went into a perfect salmon mousse. And what was more, I was going to decorate them with thinly sliced cucumber, dill, and baby tomatoes. So, as the time got closer, I got more and more excited. Phew, this is going to be wonderful, I said to myself. So on the Saturday before the service, Mum said, "Okay, they've bought the salmon and the other ingredients, and everybody's working at the church hall already, so we better wake up, and get ourselves there." So that's exactly what I did. Got ready, got myself organized and into the car, got to the church hall, and it was a busy place already. The women were doing table decor, others were putting places, setting places at the table, others were putting up balloons because of the celebration, others were doing other wonderful decor stuff. So it was going to be a fabulous, fabulous day. I concentrated on my dish, the salmon mousse. I cleaned and took out all those little pin hooks that are in the salmon. It can be quite a nuisance to have those little pesky bones. And so I had a pair of tweezers and I pulled every single one of them out, rubbing my hand over it to see that it was smooth and clean at all times. I washed 3 platters that I was going to make these beautiful mousses on, and I got my tomatoes all sorted, washed, cleaned, cut up the dill very, very finely, and the cucumber I put into one of those into those vegetable cutters, and it cut it really thin. Well, I was all set. I put the vegetables into little containers, 3 of them, kept them separately, put that back in the fridge. I started with steaming this beautiful salmon, and I got to work with the gelatin and the fresh cream and the chives and all of those things that went into making this beautiful salmon mousse. When the mixture was cool and ready, I took my 3 molds and I prepared them, and I put in the mixture into the molds, and then I had to put it into the fridge to set overnight. The next morning we got up, we got dressed, and we went to the service. It was a beautiful celebration. The Archbishop preached a wonderful sermon, and the church was full, packed to capacity, as you can imagine. We had security because the Archbishop was there. The choir outdid themselves by singing the best they could at the time. The choristers and the, the the members of the Service Guild did their utmost. They were all clean and crisp and ready to go. Oh, I was so proud of all these lovely Anglican young people. They served the communion service most beautifully. And at the last hymn, my mum nudged me and said, "Okay, let's go into the hall and set up our part of the luncheon." So I slided out of my chair and seat and got into the kitchen hall. Took the mousses out, pressed it. Oh, it was firm and ready to go. I was so proud of them, and I prayed because I had to now put them on these platters and they had to slide out beautifully, and they did. Oh, my joy, my moment of joy. I put these baby tomatoes all around, sprinkled the very finely diced dill around it, and I put the sliced cucumbers all next to each other. Looked beautiful, the red and the green. Oh, I was so proud of myself. Looking down at the tables looked resplendent. There were so many things to eat. The service finished. Our guests, special guests, came in. They sat down, and after grace, they began to eat. They ate. They ate all sorts of food, but the Archbishop's wife, said, "Ooh, this salmon mousse is really delicious." And my mum said, "Tom made it." Oh, was I excited? A celebrity. She's tasting my food and says it's wonderful. How great is that? Maybe I will be a famous chef one day. However, she congratulated me, and so did a lot of other people. You know, she said, "This is a perfect salmon mousse. I have had many in my day because in England we eat a lot of salmon." That made me even more excited. My smile went from here to kingdom come. So, when they got back, and after a few months, she invited my mum and me to Lambeth Palace, where they lived. Oh, my word. I thought I had died and went to heaven. She was going to have some special guests over. And guess what? She said, "Tom, you're going to do your special salmon mousse for tonight's dinner." Oh, I did. I did it perfectly again. The guests were over the moon and they were so excited. And I said, "Okay, thank you, everybody. Maybe I am on my way to be this wonderful, famous chef." I was overjoyed. Now, all I had to be all I had to do was to be introduced to Jamie or to Gordon or to Nigella or to anybody that was famous in the cooking field, and I was going to be on my way. What a wonderful dream Tom had. I hope that it all comes to fruition. I hope you enjoyed the story. Until next time, bye.